Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League. I'm Colin the Crow Clark, being joined by Guy Blaze, and we had a hell of a first matchup. We're only going to get better because now we move into Elevate versus Hive. But Blaze, Hive is coming off of a very recent loss, and by recent, I mean just moments ago to Vanquish. Hive goes down 2-0 to Vanquish. They lose 5-4, 5-1. That has got to be stinging coming into this next matchup.
I think the part that the big part that stings is that Vasgar, the last two times they played it, they've lost 5-4 on that map. That was how they lost last night against the Knights, and that's how they lose.
Have you ever seen a better magic trick than that? 1 second, we're here. I said abracadabra, but I doubt. Blaze, have you ever seen a better magic trick than that?
I don't think.
Did you hear me say abracadabra
have,
too? That was amazing.
I've seen a few magic tricks in my lifetime. Death by Magic is a great series on Netflix. But other than that, I think this one takes the cake. But regardless, as we were saying beforehand, before we got cut off, I think that probably carried on over towards Asylum, that loss that they had beforehand. And so that's just coming. That's what is it? 4 straight maps being lost by Hive, a team that was undefeated coming into this week. A team that I'll tell you one thing, I had high hopes for them, right? I was all on board for that Hive train for these guys to go undefeated and beat that squad. I knew it'd be a tall task for them. They would have had to, show us their resilience and their composure. To be able to stay consistent here towards the back end of the Pro League as teams are preparing to beat them, as they become the face of the league and they become, number one on everybody's hit list. But as we see, they couldn't handle the Knights, right? So that dream is out the window. They're sitting in position 3. VQ got a piece of them already. And now Elevate, some of their old teammates here. We got the old 2 members of the old Hive, Demise and Tidy, versus their old teammates in TJ and Noey. Demise and Tidy don't want to lose. Okay, they want to show them that, hey, you guys should have kept this. We're the better squad. Our record shows it, and we're here to prove it again today. Regardless of whoever wins this matchup, folks, it's going to be an awesome grudge match. I won't even call it a grudge match, but an awesome series between old teammates who just want to prove that they got the better squads.
Well, look, we're going to get a chance to talk about how these squads stack up against one another because we got a nice little team head-to-head for everybody to kind of give them an idea of how these two teams play. But the thing that kind of sticks out to me immediately, if you add up their entire overall for plus-minus on both squads are negative, meaning they have 60 more deaths or 100 more deaths than they do overall kills for their team. Their true engagement success is right there, similar in the area of 64, 63%. But Blaze, if there's anything that this tells me is that these two teams are almost built. They're built for the same kind of fights. They're built for the same kind of engagements, and they kind of live and die by the same swords.
Yeah, and the number that gives me that vibe is the plus and minus. To see Hive as the 3rd team in the league, right? And, after their 1 series yesterday, even so, they're at -100 and they're in position 3. It just shows me that the games in which they've won off of fast play style, they're getting few kills, they're winning off the initials, they're setting dominance, right? Coming out with dominations. And but for squads that can test them, to make them work for it, that send them to those 3rd maps, if you are playing that aggressive, that can also equate to a bunch of deaths for your team, right? And I think that's where it shows in that -100 for the plus and minus on that KDA as an entire team. Whew, hey, they're in 3rd position though, right? That's what's most important, right? If that -100 is there or not, they are in 3rd position.
Well, we'll find out what positions they might find themselves in this matchup when we take a look over our picks and bans for this one. And I would say that's almost kind of a slap in the face, because I'm going to go ahead and say it, Blaze. The first thing that sticks out to me, map number 2, Hive, they pick Foundation. Elevate are going to get to play Cog. After last night, if I'm Elevate, I'm doing everything in my God's honest power to stalemate out a round right now.
Yeah,
if I'm them, I just want to see them do it, to throw it at everybody.
Detox already tweeted out what the win condition is on Foundation. He says, hey, just be calm. Okay, that's all you got to do. So he's going to get his wish on that match. So that's going to be an extra little win condition, as we'll say, that they'll have going into that one. But as far as this map cycle looks as a whole, I think Elevate did a good job with it. They took out Hive's best map on Vascar. Hive did not want to deal with Elevate on Asylum. They knew that that was going to be high on their list. And as well as Trading Grounds too. They banned that out. So Harbor, Foundation, District's going to be our cycle, and I think we got a good one.
We definitely have a good cycle ahead of us, and I'm sure these players are chomping at the bit. If I know anything about Hive and those players, when they get on the schedule, they get ready to play. They are ready and ripping and raring to go. They want a piece of that action. But if anybody on the planet is ready to go, if anybody on the planet wants to get back in the W column, it's Elevate, which is why I am picking them in this matchup. After last night, they have got to have this most sour taste in their mouth, like they threw in 50 warheads way back in the day, and they were trying to keep it all under control. I have picked Elevate because I believe Shock and Detox are going to lead this team to victory because they're A, pissed after last night, and B, they don't want to be looked at by Tidy and Demise like, and y'all thought y'all were going to help us beat our old teammates. Y'all thought y'all were going to make this, because you can say whatever you want it is, but if you play an old teammate, you know damn well it is ratcheted up to 12, because if you're going to lose to anybody, it better not be somebody you used to squad with.
I totally agree with that, man, because when it comes down to it, these are the series that you practice for the most, not to lose against your old teammates. Now, when it comes down to Elevate over these last 2 weeks, Elevate, they had to play against Rise Nation, E United, Vanquish Gaming, and the Pittsburgh Knights. That's a tough group of people. All 4 of those series went to game 3. They won half of them. All right. And, you know, I just think that Elevate has been progressing week on and week out. They look good to start off our pro league. And, you know, they got the toughest part of their schedule out the window. I think that they can really streak out here towards the back end. And I think they're going to walk away here with this series now. Hive just yesterday was undefeated in the pro league. Yes, they lost to the Knights, but I think that those troubles are going to stick with them throughout this week, and Elevate comes out on top here.
So you and I, again, in the same column with Elevate. I don't know if the chat's going to agree with us. Back-to-back games, they took the easy way out in game number 1. Are they going to challenge us? Are we going to have a chance to get a point back? We will, Blaze. We got a chance to get a point back against the chat.
Hey, chat, you can tie, Colin. I'm rooting for you.
Look, I'm hoping. God only knows. I'm praying. I'm down on both knees, looking up at the good Lord, saying, please, if you'd ever give anybody strength, make it anybody in a hospital that needs it. God bless each and every one of them. But also give it to Elevate, because I really need this dub right now.
I'm gonna hold Taylor back at 15, so all's right in the universe there. And then I'm gonna support you as you go against the chat, Colin, because you gotta win. Okay, you gotta win. It's not, hey, I'm still competing, but right now I need you to walk away with this one. Tie them up, man. The chat can't be smarter than us all. They won't let us live it down.
We'll probably all lose our chops. It'll be Ryan and Ribs next quarter. They'll be out here trying to make their predictions. You know how it goes. Early on, though, Shock is going to kill Detox. So my prediction not looking good already. Oh, goodness gracious. That's not a good start for the side of Elevate and Hive. They're looking to take advantage of it. They have rotated around the map. They've gotten players in positions to Lancer out, put pressure on multiple areas. And Demise is almost stuck down here between a rock and a hard place because INZEM's on one side. Up on the stern, they've got to worry about Noey. And oh, by the way, Solurs, that perfect soldier, is behind them, just threatening and waiting in the wings.
Yeah, nah, he's waiting all right. Now, you see TJ on top of the home hill. He's doing a good job to get this round locked in by way of domination. And, you know, honestly, from the initial, Colin, all the way into the end, you know, Hive just never let up off that pressure there. And you see TJ and INZEM get the 4 kills in which they need that team wipe to lock that round in.
I'll be curious to see if it changes up their fortunes any going forward, because something that, again, it can't be understated. A team kill is a team kill is a team kill. You shoot somebody in the back, you make it a lot harder for the rest of your teammates to figure out a different fight somewhere in the map to win, to help you bring the round together. So My God, is that a Torque first round?
Ready to kick some ass?
That is gonna be a Twerk first round. Elevate isn't messing around currently. Now let's see what this type of strategy is gonna come out. TJ isn't gonna get juked out by him and Noey. Know exactly what they need to do. Quick pick up from them. They're gonna get the revives and they're gonna drop back as well. First down in this round comes in through Demise, but it's gonna be INZEM with the first kill.
INZEM gets the down there onto Detox, and Detox and Shock cleaned up once again. Hive are going to be pressuring the home hill of Elevate 2 rounds in a row. And just trying to look across the map. TJ's just trying to find anybody he can pick. Goes for that active on the Torque bow. The reason you always try to wait for that active is so that you can try to get that quick pick. It'll rev up a lot quicker, go for that stick even easier. Going to be an interesting sight to see because he's got 4 more bolts to use. He's going to try to be Robin Hood here momentarily.
All right, so gonna miss Detox there in the back, hard shot, but he has two players right to his left having to double back and get the revive on INZEM. Hive gonna back up, stay alive. That's gonna be a big kill from Tidy down low at the tracks. Elevate, well, that's actually, that kill's gonna come through up top for Tidy. Now, the stern control is being fought for by both these squads. Tidy just going behind enemy lines, dodging the Torque bow. Now, on the other end of the map at the home hill, that's gonna be a big win there for Solurs as he's trying to get this domination to come through, Colin. He has some help. The pinch is there. Shock did not get the revive. He almost came through with it, but because the revive doesn't come, and then that was not a chunk, the trip cap domination is here.
And I think that round, to me, is easily going to be chalked up to the side of Hive because of the play of Solurs. When the retake was coming, as they pushed up top stern, Solurs, when it's a 1v1 down low, he uses the Boltok to help secure that kill, and then he rotates over to the home hill, has another pressure by Detox, 2 shots onto him, gets a down with the Boltok yet again, and ensures a second kill and a retake of Elevate's home hill. I mean, that is just back-to-back 1v1s, won by the perfect soldier himself, Solurs. That makes every single round and every single second that much harder to stay alive in for anybody on Elevate. And I can't say much more about it. When you got a Boltok, when you got a guy that's as accurate as Solurs, that just makes it almost too easy for him.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Definitely does. Now, as we head here in the second round, so far Elevate has not won an initial. They've gave it a great effort there towards the winch, but just the combination of TJ and INZEM has been too much for him. Now TJ is going to go up top towards stern. He's going to have to back up. INZEM wasted no time wrapping around in his 2v2 fight. They pinch simultaneously on both sides, but INZEM chooses to go for a flank, and Shock isn't going to get juked outbound, but INZEM already has done damage.
And they help get the down there in the middle of the map. 2 downs in the middle of the map. Shock is finally going to be able to clean up INZEM. Solurs inside of that computer station. He's still got Boltok in hand, but Detox has the M-bar up top. I believe they've traded out power weapons as Noey has the Torque bow. Detox has the M-bar. Trying to get a shot on to Solurs. Is not going to be able to find it. Noey's just kind of hanging around this middle section of the map, just trying to find somebody he might be able to get a quick pick on. It's going to be possibly Demise down low. Actually looks like they might be going for a pitch here on Detox. Detox 2 shots out, 3 shots out as a matter of fact, or 2 shots in has not found anybody because there's 6 to start with. He's got 4 left, tries to go for the wrap there onto TJ. He's gonna get taken down. Here comes Tidy with the revive and the down. That should give him a chance to come back into this, but the B-Hill still easily in favor of a Hive, and that is going to put them down by about 40 points or so in this entire setup and series. This is going to be hard pressed once again, especially because Noey still holding on to 3 arrows in the Torque. This will be 3 rounds in a row that Hive has won the initial, and they're putting Elevate in a position where they have to make a play.
They are, and Noey connects with 1. He's gonna rev this bow up. Doesn't need it, but now he's in a difficult spot, just trying to stay around. He's gonna have this cover from the winch to get a better 1v1. Gonna put this bow on the ground. Perfect placement to get the splash damage. Detox back A doesn't connect, and Noey keeps stern control in favor of Hive. Now, already past that 150 marker, and Hive has the lead currently, Colin, and they just need to hold on to 2 hills. And look how pressed up they are on the bottom end of the map towards the B hill. They push that first line of defense towards their opponent's spine, and Elevate needs to win this difficult fight before they can progress on towards the B hill. And they got a few 1v1s to win as well. Solurs is going to just choose to back up. He loses his teammate, but he's being a nuisance over here. He says he's going to try to win that fight, go to the home hill. They don't even need to do all of that. All right, they had the win condition for a while. That's 3 in a row for Hive.
Real quick, Blaze, if you take a look at the scoreboard, Solurs leading his team not only in caps and breaks, but 8 kills, 2 assists, 0 deaths.
Hey, that's an impressive scoreline if you ask me. All right.
Shoot. Even when I load gears up, I start with a death in the match. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. That's how free of a 175 I am walking around the map at some times. So I start with that extra death. To see anybody with 0, 3 rounds into an escalation match just is so unbelievably impressive, especially playing the 1v1 role. It says he's taking care of business.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Go ahead, Blaze. Let him know. Let him know.
Well, you win that fight right there, and it seems like over these last 6 rounds, he's been coming out with 1 or 2 kills in that position of the map. So he wins the first one, and then he gets another kill as he's being contested, and his teammates are applying pressure on the map. So big reason for them to be undefeated right now, currently in this map. But Shock, what a start from him. He's gonna get some help there he's gonna get some help off the start. Him and Tidy go down. TJ and Noey go down. It's 2v2 on the map. INZEM is gonna be able to get that M-bar. Torque bow not in the hands of anyone just yet.
Demise trying to bounce up, trying to get that kill there. That first kill onto Solurs. Detox is going to have to try to get a pick here with the torque, but misses the reviving player. Now tries to put one right next to TJ. Won't be able to get it. He's going to be pressured into 2v1. Has to switch over to his shotgun. Does just in time to get the kill, and he swaps to put the torque on his back, so he's not going to drop that either for Solurs to take care of. And Solurs has still not died in this one. INZEM will have the M-bar in hand. They are in a 4v3 situation for just another few more minutes, or 4v2, excuse me, as 2 players from Elevate are going to have to come off a respawn. But yet again, Blaze, another initial, one pretty succinctly, one pretty well by the side of Hive. And that's 4 rounds in a row with a 3-round count lead. This is just beautiful teamwork by them.
Yeah, every round it's either been INZEM or TJ getting first blood, getting that initial kill. They've gotten one of these 2 power weapons to kick off this round. They've had stern control, and every time we get around this portion of the map, where we get to that 150 mark, it's Hive with the lead. So in the late game, they've been sitting exactly where they want to be. Only needed to win off of 1, but they're still winning their team fights.
Now we see shots out from the M-bar, trying to catch somebody. Won't be able to find anybody. He's going to be full red, but Noey has put the pressure top stern. Now he goes for the reload. Has to try to turn around. Shock will get him killed off, but INZEM, great rotation. Great way to find himself to get the revive or the heal factor back in. Comes back into the fight just late enough for him to get the easy shot onto Shock to chunk. And that is another 250 score point victory for Hive. They win 4 initials. They win 4 rounds in a row. I don't even know if this is going to be close, Blaze. This might just be 5-0, and Hive might just be the most pissed off team on the planet.
I think you are absolutely right. Coming off those last 2 losses to the Knights and VQ, Hive is upset. They don't like how they've been playing, and I think they've showed that so far in this map. And this is their opponent's map pick. And we can kind of tell that Elevate definitely came into this one with a strategy. They put that torque bow down immediately after round 1. So that just shows me that they talked about it. They want to spread out the numbers of Hive, try to keep 2 players down low. But the 2 players that's playing up top, TJ and INZEM, man, they're doing an awesome job at locking down winch and stern. Noey has been hovering over that torque bow, making sure his opponent is having a difficult time picking it up. And in the end, man, Hive they've had a great strategy to come out into this map with.
So here we go. M-bar torque still on the map. 1v1 down low, but they've got a player from Hive actually going through the middle of the map. That's going to be Noey. He has snuck over, picked up that torque, gotten it in his hands, and is now trying to bring it back into this fight. Looks like Elevate's trying to win a team fight here, but they've given up at least 1 power weapon. They have the 2-to-1 hill advantage, and Blaze, I know I almost want to call it the Guy Blaze special. They'd have to win 5 rounds in a row to win this first map. They're gonna have to play picture perfect.
I don't feel comfortable calling it though. You know, not the way the Elevate's been playing. Nah, I only call it when I feel it in my soul. Okay, that I can feel that team understanding the mistakes they made the first 4 rounds, and they start showing us on the map, you know, the little adjustments in which they're making to come back. I don't feel that from Elevate just yet. Now, luckily for them, Shock has the M bar. On the flip end, TJ did get the torque bow. So Hive still coming out with a power weapon despite not winning the initial. Let's see what they can do with that bow to retake up top.
Oh, down only by about 50 points in this one. 3 players going to wolfpack toward the top stern. TJ's keeping everybody's head down, revving that torque. There's the shot off onto the cover. That's going to get some splash damage, but is not going to get any kind of kill. Trying to get another one to go. Meanwhile, bottom side of the map, a kill has come through for Elevate. They are in position to try to push up and get a triple cap domination here momentarily, but they've got to get maybe one more kill, and that should shut it down. Shock M-Bar, headshot out. INZEM's going to try his best, but Shock takes care of him in the 1v1, shoots the body as well. I'm not sure a 4-1 round count is when you start shooting bodies, Blaze.
I don't think it is the time for that just yet. That's Elevate's first round win. They got to do a little bit more, but nice quick shot from him. Brings out that shot. He makes quick work of INZEM, takes out the 2 main slayers there on the 2 impact players of Hive throughout this first map, but he's going to have to do that a few more rounds.
Taking a look across the map here, Incendiary, Retro Talon out. Still the 2 centerline power weapons ever looming, Blaze, and just waiting for somebody to pick them up to go for that quick kill. Once again, I want to see if somebody sneaks in to go for that torque bow into the middle of the map, and it looks like they might send Noey there once again. Noey, it is going to be a 3v2 up top. Noey's going to have to be very quick to get over there to try to get the pick. Demise is going to try to check him there, has the mark, continuing to put shots into the area with his Lancer, and they're going to have a 2v1 on the bottom side of the map. But it looks like a second player from Elevate actually rotated down to try to get the down, and they couldn't get it.
Yeah, Tidy shifted down, but he was just a little bit too late. Great effort to him, but gonna get these power weapons traded off now. Shock was very influential with his M-bar last round to get his team to win in this round. We'll see if he could do it again.
With the down from Detox top stirb. Now you see them trying to push up 3 players alive in the area. Smoke out that's going to take care of the sight lines. TJ will have a Lancer down from that winch, and now it's a 3v2 in favor of Hive. They're going to fly into action. INZEM will clean it up with the Lancer out. Multiple players from Elevate down, one after the next, being allowed to bleed out. INZEM, I thought we were going to see ourselves a little execution, but no, just a meat shield. Demise is going to be full red here at the home hill. Solurs is slowly starting to creep out to the large right hand. He's going to be flashed, and now he's full red and down. Shock will clean him up around the outside, bouncing around, trying to use that movement a little defensively, trying to get into the hill. Here comes INZEM from behind, full spread, 2 shot down. Now he's going to pull up, but Shock takes care of him again. But Noey with a double kill after the stick from the torque, still fighting over their home hill. But this is without a doubt to me a Hive round. They have multiple kills being staggered out. They have the meat shield. There's the decap. 2 players into the hill. Demise doesn't really have an Ice Cube's chance. Oh goodness, he got one. He got one.
I was about to say, you drop a meat shield there in that type of situation? Like, what for? Just melee the guy as he's coming towards the hill and Elevate. They will survive, all because I know he drops the meat shield there.
Drops the meat shield, leaves them in this fight. INZEM shotgun out, waiting for somebody to bounce up. That's going to be Tidy trying to go behind him. A little wrap shot coming out. We'll get the headshot there on a Tidy, and now you see him rotate back down. Demise is going to be full red. Shots across the middle pillar. That's an easy pickup, but the reaction shot from Demise gets a kill. Almost got the second shot on INZEM to get the down and the out, but my God, he's going to leave him to bleed out. The home hill is decap, flashed out onto Detox. Detox has to live basically a lifetime down here by himself in a 2v1. That's not going to be good enough. That will give the home hill of Hive back over their way, and that will solidify this matchup, if you ask me, because that's going to put them all the way down to 15 seconds, counting down each and every moment.
That's a big bow.
That's a big bow, but I don't think it's enough. You don't have enough time to get across the map. They're still coming out of spawn. You won't make it to D in 5 seconds. You ain't Superman. You can't fly through walls.
Yeah, the revive not coming through either. Yeah, they don't got enough time.
Can't even swim. I mean, if you could jump off into the water, maybe you can swim me. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how.
Maybe, but you'll have to go like under the boat at that point, you know. Hi, folks.
Beautiful first map. 5-1 for Hive. I mean, my goodness gracious. And it's on the back of that guy right there. Solurs 14-3. Was 8-0. ends off the back half of the map at 6-3. That's still a 2-0 KD for the last 3 rounds of the map, dying only 3 times throughout the entirety of it. Like, good Lord Almighty, that's hard to overcome.
Yeah, Hive had a presence on both ends of the map. You know, they had INZEM up top at the winch, and they had Solurs down low in that 1v1 position. And, you know, we saw in the first half, throughout the first 3 to 4 rounds, Solurs never got a death there. He was playing damn near perfect, and he had the support of his teammates there. So he was a big reason to me why Hive came out and they won this map as convincingly in which they did. But, you know, let's not, take credit away from TJ and INZEM, because their dominance throughout the first few rounds, because they end up getting first blood and they had that first impact kill, rather if it was a down or a chunk, that set Hive up for success early on. And then probably just playing off that anger from the last series, they were able to carry that on over towards some trip cap dominations. We got dominations in the first 2 rounds. They won by time in the second 2. But after the first 4 was gone, Colin, they were sitting where they wanted to be. They were really comfortable. And from there was just some textbook gears.
I mean, once again, you get a 4-round count lead on a team, and you're basically forcing them to play perfect from that round forward. It's almost one of those situations where you're willing to take an L in an initial somewhere, like to try something crazy, try something kooky. Because even if you lose the round, it's still 4-1. They've still got to win 3 more rounds, and you've dominated so much of the map already and so much of the matchup already that really Elevate just had nowhere to go. Once again, like I said, they had to play absolutely perfectly for 5 straight rounds to get a win. They stayed in it. They gave it their best shot. They only come away with 1 round in map number 1. They go now to Foundation between these 2 teams, and I'm not exactly sure what's going to change between them. I mean, yeah, sure, the second half you're going to be forced to make a move on the side of Hive, but this is just going to be very interesting, especially because Elevate, they might still be having nightmares about Foundation at this point.
Yeah, they just might be. They just might be. Now, luckily for them, they will be the COG team going on Foundation, right? So hopefully they can dish out some of what they took the previous night. And then District is a really good map for them, if you ask me, as we get on towards map number 3. It's going to be their map pick. They're very good at District. So Elevate is in a good spot to stay in this series with the remaining 2 maps. But Hive, man, they're playing with a little extra flair, you know, with a little extra buzz, as we'll say.
Little extra buzz. They must be thinking and having the Hive mind in this matchup, because that first map, again, something else I want to point out. I'm going to hit you with stats. So we played, we had a 5-1 round count out of the 6 rounds. 5 out of the 6 rounds had the initial going over to Hive. Solurs with no death through the first 4 rounds. He was 8-2-0 after 3, 10-2-0 after 4. This is the stat that stands out and stares me dead in the face. And I kept trying to make a little hash mark down here, and I made 13 hash marks, which means anytime I saw team fire from Hive, anytime somebody rotated over, somebody got an extra bullet in, because I'm trying to always try to watch for that cross. I like to kind of see that in this game. I try to keep as much attention paid to somebody adding a helping hand. 13 kills between round 4 and 6. 13 kills had a helping hand. Somebody helped solidify the fourth out of their 4-round wins and their 5th and final round win after they lose the 1 round to Elevate. The round in which they lost to Elevate, no hash marks, not a single one. It was almost like they took every fight as a solo, as a 1v1. They went back to the old Hive ways where they were just going to outflash and dash somebody. The other 2 rounds, always putting help out there, always making sure their teammates never felt alone in any fight.
And that's a great call out, because of the one, like you said, the 1 round in which they lost, they felt like, you know, they were playing as individuals. Now, that specific round, you know, Elevate won the initial shot, got the end bar, and then it was able to lock in that top portion of the map. So Hive felt like somebody needs to be the hero. Who's going to do it? Who can get through and break this setup? Didn't work out for them. So as we head here into Foundation, something that we're going to have to be paying close attention to is that now, when Elevate starts putting some of these initials and Hive has to play retake, will they be playing more as a unit since they didn't get that early setup? Can they, you know, play as a squad to break those heals that Elevate's going to have? Or are they going to be playing like individuals, you know, trying to take 1v2s, pushing these solo lanes without help? So we got to pay close attention to the teamwork of Hive in this series, because that's probably the reason why they lost against VQ. If we had to guess, we didn't see this series, right? but just knowing how talented VQ is and looking at the scores on Vascar and Asylum, maybe they just got to out teamwork. And in map number 1 for this series, Hive absolutely just kind of slayed out, and they had some great performances as a whole. Let's see if we get more teamwork out of them. In this one, Solurs takes out his own teammate there. But look at the player count. It's going to be Elevate with a 2-man advantage. They're going to be getting a triple cap domination now, and they will solidify it.
Solurs actually with a team kill there to start off against INZEM. And that really opened things up because it was a 3v2 on the map, because you had a 2v1 there and you had a 1v1 at the top of the map. So somebody could have rotated around to help out, make it 2 different 2v1s on the map at any given point in time. Instead, when Solurs chunks off INZEM, you now give the numbers advantage up over to Elevate. They end up bringing 2 players into double cap B. The player for Hive that's down there is pretty much stuck behind that U. Beautiful job. I love the little shimmy shake he gave him to get the extra shot onto his teammate to get the chunk. That was just beautifully done, to use your movement to make your opponent make a mistake. Voltox opposite sides of the map. Hive decided to go toward the second half home hills, meaning they're going to probably be leaning more towards a home-to-home setup, maybe a retro-to-retro setup for that second half, whereas Elevate, they're going to go down low to the C hill with Voltox, which tells me that they're going to be ready for that second half incendiary grenade. I really like the differing styles here, the differing fashions. INZEM full red, but doesn't go down, trying to get outside of the Pistons. Tries to just check back in, tries to get some body shots in with the Lancer. Not going to have anything to go just yet. Elevate waiting for Hive to make a mistake here in round number 2.
I believe in that first round, I think we only got maybe like 1 kill in that round, if I'm not mistaken, for that domination to come through. But as we see here, the plays are trying to be made here on the side of Hive, but it's going to be Tidy who gets first blood there. Now, even though he gets that kill on Noey, 2 of his teammates is going to end up falling here. And you are going to have pressure on the home hills. This is an overextension from Shock trying to keep his team in a round.
Shock gets the decap and then pushes up. He's going to crawl around. He's going to be down. Nobody's going to be in the area to pick him back up. It keeps Elevate in the round, but both of these people, both players, it was Demise and Shock, pushed out toward, who's playing here? TJ. Both of them pushed out toward TJ and ended up, instead of being in a 2v1, put themselves in a 1v1. One of the things that we just have to make sure we keep our eyes on, keep paying attention to, is the retakes from Elevate. They weren't exactly stout in map number 1 on the Harbor. Down comes through at the back U. Noey's going to clean him up with the Lancer. Detox trying to make something happen in the middle of the map. That's going to be TJ rolling around, playing that playing that Reyna, excuse me. And now they push Demise all the way back to the fountains, and this is a good second round for Hive. They are well within their rights to win this, if you ask me. They are already up by 50 points. They're threatening the triple cap domination here shortly. Noey will go down, but I don't believe anybody's going to be there really to clean it up. They're actually going to be able to rotate right back on out. This is where Elevate needs to take advantage of this and push back out across the 50.
Man, if Tidy knew that he had a little bit of extra help coming from fountains, maybe he stays alive there on top of that home hill. Elevate contesting the piston spawn down low in cave. They are pushing back Hive too as well. So far, they did a good job being able to get back towards their home hill, but that fight's not over yet because Noey is still causing problems on that side of the map. And then Hive has had full control in this round so far. But players are going to get on the home hill in time. Both home hills at that. A player will be on B. Can player 2 get back in time to win it in the late game?
Out to 2v2 with the home hill of Hive, rolling back after trying to get shots here at the Cubby corner, but it's 238 to 160. They are going to have to keep this fight alive for quite some time to stay in it. Smokes have come out. Tidy and Shock just holding off player after player, coming off of respawn. No. They get another down. Detox will clean it up. And ladies and gentlemen, the retake comes through. The domination ticks on through, and Elevate, they win 2 rounds back-to-back. The first off of a mistake by Hive, the second off of a pure retake and winning gunfights across the map.
Woo! And that was in a late game too. Hive only needed about, I want to say 11 points. That was it. Now, you got to look at Hive's aggression. They got the kills down low on top of the Pistons. From that point on, they had 4 players on the map. They were a little slow getting towards the home hill of Elevate. They were able to come off respawn. Tidy took one to the grave. They won the fight there. And they were able to quickly win a 2v2 fight at Pistons. And from that moment on, they slowly just, took several objectives off their checkbox, was able to progress on towards their opponent's home hill, and they won some big fights, man. That was huge for Elevate. Hive felt that one.
Round number 3 we go. Everybody mounted up. Detox moving through the middle. He'll get 1 kill. Tidy's coming in for the revive. He gets it off, but I mean, a big fight is going to break out. Solurs is in the middle of the map. I like how Tidy kept his distance. Continue to use that poke damage to keep him red, getting him down, getting him dead. TJ's going to be pressed out up top. Noey trying to get control over the B hill. Will find himself in a 2v1 here very shortly, but he has a teammate coming back off of respawn. These are dangerous waters for Elevate. Flashes out, double down, comes through. Now Elevate has to push across if they want to try to go home to home, but they're going to back up. They're going to continue to stay in this fight, I believe, and Demise gets it down there. This could be tough sledding, but they are going to give up the initial 2-hill cap over to Hive. And Elevate, they have to wait for the respawns now.
Okay, Elevate, they need to slow down. Even though First Blood came through from Tidy and he picked up some big kills, once the dust settled, it was Hive who ultimately won the initial. They got their home hill and the B hill locked in. You see Noey pressed up towards that H. He has to back up to T. He has help from his teammates. 1v1 middle, 1v1 at Torque Bow, 2v2 down low. This is the setup that Hive wants to be in. Now let's see if Elevate can retake. We saw once before, last round, that they waited absolutely to the last minute to get this round back. We'll see if they can do it again.
This roll from Detox, that's going to give Hive this round, I believe. I mean, now they can pressure the 4v3 on the map. They can push up. They've already got the 2-to-1 hill advantage. As a matter of fact, they're just going to pull back. I love this by Hive. These are the looks that were winning Hive rounds early in the season that gave them that early undefeated streak. Yes, they've dropped 2 games, but this is the Hive that was undefeated, where they would win initials and then they would pressure opponents into making a secondary retake, and then they'd make somebody make a mistake, they'd capitalize, and they'd put them down into the ground. Detox, Tidy down here. Tidy's going to move up to the front side of the map. Unsure. They are marked. So Noey's marked, Tidy's marked, and now Tidy is going to move into the B hill, trying to get that decap, but he's going to go down. That retro just absolutely too strong in the Pistons to allow somebody to dance around no matter how good their movement may be. That should start to wrap things up as Detox has to go absolutely huge. He's going to need a 3-piece. He's only going to get 1. That, ladies and gentlemen, will make it 2-to-1 in favor of Elevate.
All right, so Hive, this time they do not let it get away from them, as they kind of let the first 2 rounds just, you blink, you would have missed them both. But this time they are able to lock it in. They did not win the initial. Well, they did win the initial. They didn't get First Blood, but after they won the initial, it was just a 2-to-1 hill setup. That was what I saw that was really successful for them. They didn't do too much. It's just that it made it very difficult for Elevate to get this B hill back. They had a great mid-map presence, and we saw that player misroll towards the center of the map. I think it was Shock. Once he died, Elevate had that man advantage, and they did a good job keeping that advantage throughout the rest of the round.
And earlier I talked about how the weapons were swapped on both sides of the map, and still there we are. Retro's opposite ends, Boltox opposite ends, working toward, I would assume, the incendiaries where they want to have them be placed down. INZEM pushing up toward the Pistons from the open side of the map. Elevate will have 2 players in Pistons already. Tidy and Detox still here fighting this good fight. I'm not sure if they can get any looks onto INZEM, and Tidy's going to have to push up a little bit to try to pressure out. Noey is just playing back. That's beautiful defense, continuing to roll back, continuing to put himself in a position to use that retro, but INZEM gets crossed out. Now it's 4v3, and that should give Elevate the early initial.
Great First Blood from Detox. He put his team in this position to get this early B hill, get the setup in which they want. As we know, Retro Lancer is going to be down low in cave. Going to be able to lock down this entire area in the hands of Demise. And Demise is actually going to be on the other end of the map. That is the Retro Lancer I hear from Noey on that end. So we'll see if he could use that to retake the B hill. But over here at the home hill, Hive, they get aggressive. They're pushing back Demise, and they got the C hill capped up. Now currently a 2v2 fight. That was huge from INZEM.
And now it leaves down in the bottom side of the map. Hive is going to go for the retake. They have a 2v1 at the U. Demise and Shock trying to make something happen in this 2v2. INZEM full red. Demise is down. Shock is down. Hill taken. Triple cap domination. No mistake. tied up after the first half, 2-2. Both teams 3 rounds away. Hive 3 rounds away from a 2-0 victory over Elevate. And they're looking fantastic in these initials. The way they're working their angles, the way they're playing off the back foot, and then just wolf packing around the map has made things ungodly hard for Elevate to really solidify any stance, any defensive stand, any Lancer lanes, any angles that they could normally take. They're losing them to the way that Hive is rotated through this map.
And you know, when Hive sent most of their numbers towards the top portion of the map to get the home hill of Elevate, those members of Elevate, they all dropped back, you know, little by little. We saw it was 3 members of Elevate defending that home hill, and that was kind of after their initial win. I would love to see Elevate put more pressure in at Pistons or just try to out-rotate your opponent on the map if they could have done so, but based off the terrain of Foundation, having to go up this mid-ramp, having to go up through either Fountains or Weldings, these cave side hills, they're very hard pushes, right? So sometimes just backing up to defend your home hill is the better play. Now, we do see Hive pushing across map early on to get this early home hill set up. No kills coming through just yet, but both these players trapped next to each other, close enough for a revive if they need so.
First a good kill by INZEM. Look, this is the answer back. We've had a lot of talk in the last 24 hours about the second half of Foundation and how it works out. And you're stalemating out at the E hill and trying to sit back if you're cog to allow Swarm to take advantage. And the real answer of your Swarm to me has always kind of been going home to home. They have one Retro mounted up back here. Now they can play defense with it, and that's what a Retro does for you. Noey has it down. He does probably 80% damage on the second, and now Detox is stuck in the middle of nowhere, all by his lonesome. They try to rotate out to go over to the E hill. He gets 1 kill. Doesn't get the second shot to go through on Solurs, but they are in no position to really come back into this because 2 players are still playing defense at their home hill. TJ has a hammer burst. Oh goodness, they're just putting out damage. That's just, it's a fantastic defensive stand for Hive. They are really a brick wall.
The Retro Lancer is annoying, but the hammer burst on the right hands is just as annoying. And we saw Detox rotate to this hill like about 20 seconds or so ago to try to get E. Solurs, he was in a 1v2. He takes 1 to the grave, but as you see, the neutral hill finally goes over towards Elevate, but Hive already passed the 150 mark, and they have the setup in which they want. They're on top of their opponent's home hill. They got theirs locked in. Solurs will stay alive. He gets the stun on Shock, but he's in another 1v2.
Player number 9, Noey, has broken through. He's going to go over to E, so even if they lose the home-to-home stretch, Noey is going to have 1 hill. Nobody's going to be there to challenge him just yet. They got to fly over there. It's going to be Tidy trying to get to that E hill to stop this take by them. 16 points away. Hive, all they have to do is just live and survive in this moment. They have to continue to send people over to E. Noey's going to have his Retro, or excuse me, he's going to have just the Lancer in the shotgun. Goes to the back A on Tidy. Tidy now has to fight the fight in the hill. Gets the chunk. He's going to go down. He gets the break, but they're down by 140 points. This is absolutely huge. They got to get the triple cap domination. It's denied momentarily at the home hill. Now it's up to Detox. He wins another 1v1 at the E hill, but they're getting their home hill back. That's the F hill taken back by TJ. That's another round for Hive. 3-2, excuse me.
Oh, it got scary there for Hive just for a bit, but you know, they had an easy 2v1 on top of their home hill, which got them those remaining 3 seconds in which they needed. But man, Hive from start to finish, man, they were really composed. I love the pressure on their opponent's home hill to be able to rotate that Retro Lancer over, get that setup, because they were at, I want to say they had about 100-point lead in there when they had 180. So they set themselves up for success. But man, you just see escalation as a game mode. It can get scary for you in the late game, folks. And it got scary for Hive, but they stayed composed and they locked that round in.
Well, there's the answer by Elevate. They said, look, you want to go home to home? Fine. Let's put an M bar down. Let's make you fight over the E hill. Let's try to force an issue over here. One player staying in spawn, that Solurs, was late coming out. I'm not sure if that's going to come back to bite him. They're actually going to send him over to home. So that does not bite Hive in the butt whatsoever. E-Hill so far, first blood goes way of Elevate. Now Noey might get pinched out here momentarily, but there's still 2 players over there. It's a 3v2 top side of the map, 1v1 bottom side of the map. Noey is gonna be crossed up, X'd out, taken down. He's gonna start to bleed out. Unsure if anyone's gonna make it there. Nobody does make it there. There's the E-Hill and the M-Bar in favor of Elevate. Now Elevate has to rotate somebody back to try to play defense at F. It's gonna be Tidy as the first line, Shock trying to rotate into the fight. This is gonna get interesting. A secondary little turnaround by Hive might send a second player over to that E-Hill.
Now, we do see Hive. They got 3 members between the middle portion of the map and the E-Hill. They got 3 guys on this side of the map. Their numbers are going to be matched. It's pretty much a 1v1 in the top 2 lanes and a 2v2 down low. That Shock Grenade keeps the M-Bar locked in towards these bottom stairs, but that's about it. Doesn't really do anything else. Shock still has free sight lines. Now he is gonna get pressured, chooses to use his shotgun in this engagement instead. He misses the back A, takes a lot of damage, and he wants Detox to lead the fight here. And that's a beautiful shot grenade for them to kind of take the advantage in this little 2v2 engagement. A down comes through, but you see that 3rd member joins the fight. Demise not able to get there in time, and Shock wants to protect the power weapon.
Well, they also won the other side of the map, so the home-to-home spread might come out for Hive here momentarily. Player number 6 is going to be challenging a 1v1. That's going to be TJ versus Tidy, and TJ goes down. Tidy wins the 1v1 back-to-back, giving them their home-to-home stretch in this round. So once again, Elevate holding on defensively here. They start out mid-neutral and home, and they move to home and home. Now crossing the 200-point threshold. They're going to be down to about 20 seconds, but INZEM lurking with the hammer burst. This is going to be an interesting little trade-out. Revving up the M-Bar, misses the first shot, misses the second shot. 1 more to go. He's got to connect. There's no way. You miss all 3 of these rounds, you may as well hand the round back over to Hive.
Man, it went right between both those players twice. Does it happen again? It does. He shoots between them again for 3 in a row, and he finally dies. The F-Hill is going to get decapped in time. I lied. There was a second off. It was a second off. Okay. I saw it being contested, but the kill came through. In the end, is Elevate getting themselves another round. And that's coming off them winning the initial and being able to lock in that home hill setup, especially with Shock having that M-Bar on his back, those few shots he had left.
That was a really interesting double rotation out by Elevate. They start out with the 2 players down at Statue. They end up rotating Detox back out of the fight, back to the home hill. And they say, look, we're going to bring Demise over here to help you, Shock. But Demise is going to end up basically being a sacrificial lamb. His job is to keep them from having free flight at you over to Fountains so that Shock can escape with 1 full clip of M-Bar over to the welding to try to help out his teammate Tidy to hold off that last stand, that last gas push. Even though they both die, they get it down to basically where they know they have to push in. There's no more time left. They get the 3-3 spread. They tie it back up. Here we go to round number 7. Both teams with an incendiary bottom statue side of the map. TJ moving into the back statue. He will take hold here. Incendiary long range will find TJ, but INZEM finds Shock other side of the map. And look at the way Hive has already rotated out. They have already brought all 3 members over here. That was a beautiful job to press the CQC. The quick revive from Detox, but Noey now has the M-Bar, and they have to be careful. Power weapon in favor of Hive. Shots out, rotates back around. Oh my God, Solurs! Solurs used a beautiful move right there. I'm gonna have to hit you up with how it happened after this round. I hope we get it on replay.
Man, so big double kill coming out for Solurs, and you see the pressure from Hive on top to be able to defend this push from Shock on their home hill. So now Hive got the 2-1 hill setup in which they want, and they're going to finally pull away with the lead, Colin. That was a crazy play there from Solurs. Big double from Hellman. Noey did a great job rotating towards the center portion of the map to get over there and be able to pick up that M-Bar and get this locked in for a squad. So now Hive is sitting exactly where they want to be. Got some angles on a few players mid-map. Elevate gonna even out their numbers. 2 players top tables, 1 in mid-map, 1 in the top lane as well. Let's see how Elevate's gonna retake this one.
3 rounds left in the M-Bar. Noey only has 2 in the chamber. I don't know if he wants the rechamber, have all 3 to use, or if he's just going to try to pop and stop with 2 and then go for a reload. Here comes the first. He's going to have an easy lineup on Demise. Beautiful job by him. Gonna rotate now top side of the street, now has the active, hits a shot there mid-map onto player 4. That's Tidy, almost hits the second, out of rounds now. So 2v1 over here at the E-Hill. Shock cannot go anywhere. He cannot move up whatsoever. The home-to-home stretch has been won by Elevate. That will give them the win condition as well, but it's going to take a full 60 seconds, and Shock is going to get crossed out momentarily, but there's the respawns, there's the retake, there's a beautiful job by all of Elevate to fly back over to the E-Hill and start winning some of these fights, trying to get these engagements to go in their favor. Player 1, Detox, has left the fight. He's left the home hill, and now he's turned around. Oh my God, Shock top street is still alive, but the play's about to break out of the F hill. We need to get over there. The E hill is going to be almost null and void because you're going to have 2 players off a respawn. Hive is going to have to get them into this fight well before Elevate can get their respawns over there if they want to keep their round count in their favor, because 30 seconds from now, they will win in a 1-to-1 stretch, but the 1v1 at the E has been won by Hive. Back and forth we go. Every time Hive wins a fight somewhere on the map, Elevate answers back.
Yeah, Elevate won that fight down low, and they was able to keep the win condition. I was Shock going huge, and he gets the M-bar as well. But does he keep the M-bar at E? Does he rotate it towards the home hill? He has to have faith in his teammates, and rightfully so, because they locked this kill in. The lead change comes through in the final seconds of the game, and there is nothing that Hive can do about it. And that was a crazy round there when he got there towards the end. You know, it was Demise. He doubled back towards the home hill when you called it out, Colin. And he had 2 players in which he had to deal with. But, you know, I like the play because in his mind, he says, you know what? We're going to win off the home hills. We're going to fortify here, make it difficult for him, force them to have to fight in the corners of the map. Even though he did lose that battle, if Shock didn't win his 1v1, I think Hive will definitely be on map point, series point. But Shock went big there.
Beautiful job. Frag grenades placed in the middle of the map by Hive. They got 2 centerline weapons, and I actually like that because INZEM last round, forced to fight out in the middle of the map, wins it, and then is able to rotate through the bottom side to get a good little flank there at the E-Hill. So I think he's banking on that again. He said, if I win this 1v1 once again, I can bring those frag grenades up here. Solurs is going to get them for Hive instead. Now Solurs is going to have 2 frags to use. Frag out, won't find anybody. M-bar over to the side of Elevate as well, and Elevate pulls back. They're going to force Hive to make this move. 1v1
okay,
as well, Blaze.
We say that, but Detox has to put the M-bar on his back. He dodges some shots, but he took a brick there from Solurs, and he gives him a better shot. What a risky head-down play, but Detox shows no fear, and he gets a second kill as well. His duo shot gets the down on Noey. And now you see Elevate trying to play for the win, trying to apply pressure, but now they're going to disengage. They say, you know what? We did enough. We won the initial. We got the power weapon. Now let's lock it in.
Beautiful job. 3 players top side of the map, now rotating 1 back over. That's going to be Shock trying to play that swing defensive position. He's just trying to gather intel. Anybody that knows where they're going across the map, Detox has to know. He has to get the call out that 2 of them are going to be coming through the bottom of the cave. Detox is going to pull back across the street. This is where the defensive stand comes. This is where they have to be careful. They have to keep lane priority, Blaze. And what I always mean by lane priority is you have to know where the opponent is. You have to know there's only 4 ways they can come to you on this map. I know there's only 4 players, but you can pretty much peek check every corner and make sure that nobody gets lost in the sauce. They know that there's now a 2v2 split on the map with 1 in the middle, but a headshot from Detox will shut down Noey. Beautiful, baby.
It was
beautiful.
No mark on Noey there. No mark whatsoever. If it was, I was blind to it. Beautiful shot there to Detox from Detox. And so it was a mark there, so I am blind. But you guys know that. Now, big kill there from Tidy there on the other end of the map. So Elevate sitting with 4 players still alive, 2 kills coming through. They know where the 3rd is. TJ, not much you could do. You see the flash grenade trickle over the top. He's like, really? Sitting duck. And Elevate should be able to lock this in.
They should, down to just 10 seconds. You see them flying across the map. Hive is going to try to make 1 more move happen. Detox with another kill from that M-bar. He had help in the middle of the map, though. Another down comes through for Elevate. Ladies and gentlemen, Elevate are going to wrap this up 5-3. 3 rounds in a row on the back end for them to tie it up at 1-1. Hive versus Elevate is not failing to be impressed so far. We are going to go to a map 3, our second one of the night. I hope nobody goes anywhere because I'm strapped into my seat. You all better be too. Map 3 right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Pro League. We are right in the middle of a war between Hive and Elevate. This map almost went to the wire on map 1. Almost went to the wire on map number 2, excuse me, here on Foundation, but Elevate finds a way to win 3 straight rounds to really start to put things away off of some beautiful initials and some great swing defense plays.
Yeah, they definitely do, man. They did a fantastic job here. Just kind of staying alive in this map. Because, you know, Hive was working them for a good portion of this one. And you called out this play earlier, Colin.
So
Solurs did.
Solurs, when he rolls off the cover, like he's going back over to E, he's actually roadie strafing forward. He's roadie running straight forward. He does what I call the return to center. He switches his momentum. He stops pressing up on his stick, pulls down on his stick. It puts your head basically underneath your elbow, turns all your momentum back 180 degrees, which puts him in a position to take that cover and get that second up A. If he were to continue to roadie strafe out, he'd have to take the right angle cover, try to wrap shot around that cover, which it's way too wide to do that. So it's a beautiful job by him to hit the return to sender, to be right up in somebody's grill. When he has help over the top, he knows the Lancer damage is coming in. He gets the help, the one-shot chunk, and then it leads to a two-piece, baby. It's beautiful to see players at this high mechanical of a level pull off little in-game intricacies like that. Shout out to my man PR, who does it all the time in ranked and tells me about it. He just says, Colin, I hit that boy with the return to center. I said, I had your help. You know I did, baby.
That was when it comes down to that map, the map Foundation, both these squads traded off on initials a lot. Okay, they traded off on initials a lot. We had a lot of rounds go to time, a lot of rounds that made it to the late game. Hive had a few that got scared for them, but they stayed composed and they found win conditions to pull them out. We're about to go to District, and on District, man, I don't know if any of these squads, you know, will get as many second chances as they possibly got on the 8 rounds that we played on the last map. I think when it comes down to District, you know, if you win 2 team fights in a row as a squad, you're probably going to get a domination and come out with a victory on a round. But, you know, we're going to play close attention to it when we see it. But, you know, Colin, after watching 2 maps, you know, what's one thing that you've kind of noticed going here into map number 3? And who are you kind of leaning more towards as we head to District?
I'm sticking with my initial pick, Elevate. One of the things that I saw Elevate improve on from map 1 is that swing defense. Getting a Lancer into the fight, getting somebody to help you out made all the difference in the world for them. A lot of times, every round that they won the initial on map number 2, they only lost that initial lead twice out of those 5 rounds that I had them winning the initial. So they need to continue to do that. Not just win the initial, but be able to help each other out and put pressure on their opponents as a team.
All right, let's see if they can do just that. As a unit, Demise is going to get the first down on INZEM, and that kill will come through mid-map. The pressure from Elevate, they're going to quickly move from info to juice, and they're on the top of their opponent's home hill. Hive had to push forward through their opponent's spawn. We see TJ go down. Noey goes down as well. Now it comes down to a trip cap domination. Can INZEM stop? Oh, not for now, and no one will be able to make it to the hill. That first round goes to Elevate in 48 seconds.
Beautiful first round by Elevate. Once again, you saw them shooting straight down lane. They had the smoke out in the window of juice. It gave them the opening to get into the hill, try to get that B hill capped up. They had players allowing them to just shoot straight down between the info and juice, get shots on as they go to the bandstand. That's beautiful teamwork. That is what is going to continue to win them fights and win them rounds against a team like Hive.
All right, Botok plays down low on the bottom portion of the map. That's going to be a staple. We'll see what initial both these squads want to run before. Now it was Demise who got a big down on INZEM in the middle of the map. And from there, Elevate just straight had the man advantage. They got aggressive from info to juice and picked up all the kills in which they needed to get the dominations. INZEM matched up against Detox down low. He's going to get bandstand for free as Detox backs up. Elevate choosing to play this one a little bit more defensively. They got a lot of focus here towards the mid-map. Multiple members of Hive being stuck down low towards the bandstand area. We'll see if they can make it back up top towards B or if they want to kind of push the home hill.
Right now, Hive really has the middle of the map clogged up. You see player 8, that's Shock. He tries to jump into the B hill. He actually goes down. They got a lot of shots onto him, and nobody, I think, is in the area to really help out. They're going to try to send Demise full red. He gets there to the backside, but they leave a player open and Juice for a 2v1. Tidy, he's going to get cleaned up very quickly. This is where Hive has to break out. Easy back A there on Detox. Will get the kill. 2 players down, 4 Elevate. They're going to lose the home-to-home spread, and Demise is actually going to get rotated on from behind. That's a beautiful flank by Noey.
Noey got the initial down on Shock at Cinema. Then from there, he got 2 kills right after to put Hive in his position. And they're going to actually walk away with the trip cap domination as well in this round with 1:14. So the focus fire on Shock is what started the team fight. Noey hops to Juice. With help of his teammate, he gets a kill, pushes through his opponent's spine, gets another kill. INZEM wins his fight down low, caps the home hill, and then Hive converges on top of B. Great teamwork from them. So now let's see here.
I like the double retro placement down low because it kind of protects you for that late game power weapon in the bandstand, because you know that you're already building toward that Shock. Both teams are staying with the same mentality. They say, look, we're not going to even build toward B. We know this game might go the second half. We know it's probably going to go deep in the round, so we need to be careful. Detox and TJ were stunned for an eternity, and Noey had to rotate over, but they've got 2 kills. They've got the opening they want, and Elevate is pretty much 4 dead off the initial. Demise last alive. He's going to be caught between a rock and a hard place and 2 other members of Hive, and that's going to give them the opening they need to go for a triple cap domination. TJ will also have their Retro Lancer. That is not something you can leave for somebody to pick up while they're trying to threaten the triple cap blaze.
And, you know, even after hitting Cyclops with so many shots, he hit him with the retro, he hits him with a full spread, and he doesn't go down. You know, Elevate is going to survive in this round to be able to fight again. They're going to get towards their positions in the mid portion of the map. Now, they can talk about what their next push is going to be, but they know for sure they have to decap this B hill now. And Hive not in a position to get the down. They will finally rotate somebody over there, so B doesn't get capped up for Elevate just yet.
2v2 back toward the Cinema side. 1 player still inside of the info. Juice as well. We are stagnant up here in this matchup, and this is going to come down basically to Elevate has to make a move first. They're down 30 or 40 points. Any early shots on any damage and downs could come back to bite Hive in the butt, but Hive can pretty much play back. They can play this like a secondary initial, and I think if you're Elevate, you have to rotate down and get that retro to try to stop any kind of cross coming in. Hive Solurs, by the way, take a quick peep at that Lancer skin. That should be the new Charmed skin that came out today with the St. Patrick's Day Arms Race event that's going on in game right now. That's a beautiful new weapon skin set that he is rocking.
That's the perfect Dom skin to have as well, too, to have in combination with that weapon skin. Now, Elevate, they're shifting down low towards the home hill. They got 2 players on this side of the map, and they got players in the top 2 lanes as well in different 1v1 positions, respectfully. So Elevate, they got the setup in which they want, but now they got to execute. Now, this is a 1v1 on top of the B hill in which they've created. They're going to be able to lock this one in. Now, Elevate has gotten a win condition. That's a trade on that end of the map. So now Solurs knows that he can get over there for free if he wants. And he definitely wants to decap the B hill now. But that other player who's been mapped was Demise. He's going to choose to flank the home hill of Hive. And I think that's the best move that he can make.
Demise is stuck inside the info, or the Juice now. This is a dangerous position for him. You see them trying to break the home-to-home spread. Demise is going to turn around and try to put shots on Solurs, but I mean, he goes down almost instantaneously. B-Hill's still in favor of Hive. Elevate losing players left, right, and center. They're going down all over the map. And Hive is starting to clean up the mess here, even though you see Elevate having the win condition in 30 seconds. Excuse me, now it's flopped over because they've lost the hill long enough for them to lose the point advantage. This should be a Hive round. They're threatening the triple cap domination, but again, Elevate needed to just stick to their guns and play out some of those fights instead of putting themselves in different positions, trying to rotate around the map. I'm unsure why he even looked out of juice to put shots on Solar when his teammate wasn't really even pressing the issue yet. It's not like you were putting shots to help him win the fight. You're basically putting shots to start him off in the fight. I'm just not exactly sure if that was a miscommunication or not.
Yeah, it definitely could have been. Definitely could have been. I felt like Elevate had an opportunity in that round to come out on top. It was big for Shock to get the B hill capped up, but unfortunately for him, he trades off in that situation. You get Solurs mid map. He has a difficult decision to make. I think he makes the right one, locking in the hill for his team and forcing Hive to have to retake the forcing Elevate to have to retake the home hill of Hive, which is down low at Arcade. In the end, Hive was leading after the 150 mark. We were sitting in a comfortable position. In the late game, it was rotations that won on the map, right? So good job to them. We're heading here into round number 4. And you got 2 players of Hive going down low and a quick down from Detox, but does Elevate get anything from this quick down? It happened so soon. I don't think they can get anything from it.
No, they don't come away with anything. They get that down. The quick revive comes out. They were trying to get that down to slow up the Lancer angle at the B hill, but it doesn't give them the advantage. They're not able to get into the hill to get that capture, excuse me. Detox is standing up just trying to bait out shots. I think he's trying to keep check of how many people are where and what numbers are threatening. Here we are stationed up yet again. INZEM versus Tidy is a big fight to me because INZEM, I mean, most everybody would give them the nod, give INZEM the nod in that fight. Tidy might challenge him. He has the retro. That's pretty much his saving grace in this fight, is being able to put out extra damage early in this fight. But I believe, most people are going to say INZEM should be able to win that 1v1, but I think they're going to get the call out now that 2 players have rotated down. This is going to be a big fight. INZEM backing up, just trying to get the angle. There goes the extra player. I believe that Solurs has now rotated over to put shots across the map. I know it says Noey next to Solurs' name, but that is indeed player number 3, Hive Solurs, getting the extra angle across that E hill. Noey's up top. He won a 1v there at the B hill and is now taking control of it, which will give Hive the complete control over the map and an easy lane to basically 3-1.
For the last 3 rounds in a row, Noey has made the first impactful play for Hive and gotten them the win of the initial. 3 rounds in a row, he's been playing phenomenal. And now Hive gets to sit here with this advantage, and they got to play towards the late game. We talked about on Foundation how Hive's teamwork is going to hold up in the late game against Elevate, as they are spreading out the map and fighting key locations for the retake. And to answer that question, I think Hive has been doing great over these last 3 rounds. They've been taking their time. They've been doing a good job isolating Elevate, focusing the same targets. And once they stagger that one player, once they get that first kill and they get that advantage, they do a great job holding it. Now, we see Elevate applying pressure here towards Info. It wasn't able to get any kill in the situation, but Noey is still down, and he's going to go down at the B hill. So Elevate, they take that one back in their favor, and being towards the late game, this could be their final push.
See them trying to push up. Solar's trying to get shots here. He needs one more to connect. He gets it to go. Meat shield comes through. They're trying to get the Lancer fire out. Shock has him full red. I believe actually gets the revive off, but they get the kill there. 1v1 at the bottom of the map needs to be won by Hive. You see INZEM trying to push across, trying to get any kind of decap, because now Elevate does have the win condition. They are down to 20 seconds. They got to continue to play defense, but they win the info fight. They're in B. They're going to go for this decap. Elevate have to answer back with a decap of their own at the C hill. Nobody getting any points now for the side of Hive, and that's going to give Elevate yet another win condition. But oh my goodness gracious, good God almighty. Another 1v1 won by Detox, solidifies the round.
He's coming.
Wow, Elevate in the late game. Elevate in the late game. They find a way to come back in this one. And it started off with the kill that they got on Noey at the top portion of the map at the B hill. From there, they were able to put Hive in a little pincer move. And you for a second, you saw Solurs start to get a few kills at Info, and like he was going to come out on top, victorious of that fight. But Shock, I believe, was the player to take him out. And from there, Elevate, they won a big fight at E, got that hill locked in. They was able to get the lead at the back end of that round. So good job for them for staying in it and keep fighting.
Hammer burst out for both squads, and this is kind of unique. I'm used to seeing at least a utility grenade by this point in the map, but INZEM, a shock somewhere. Right now we got 4 secondary rifles. A lot of damage can be put out, but we're tied up at the half. Somebody has to make a move toward that E-hill. Detox is trying to get pressure onto INZEM, and I believe Detox has been hit by 3 different flash grenades, and Demise tries to roll in to help him out, but he's going to go down as well. This is another initial one by Hive, and this should give Hive the easy domination in this round. They're going to be able to pick this up and go up 3-2, I'm pretty sure, especially with that down on shock.
They should be able to. Yeah, and that's what Hive needs. They need to transfer some of these initials that they're winning to some early trip caps if they possibly can. That's the quickest round in which we've seen so far coming out here for Hive. And that's off the back of INZEM. INZEM initially was playing the 2v2 fight down low, but he did a little switcheroo with his teammate, and he was able to cut up top and get that first kill on Detox, and Detox didn't see it coming. But once that first kill came through, Hive did a good job trading out the remaining kills to get that domination at the end.
Retro half-timed on the side of Hive. M-bar placed out by Shock. This is going to be interesting to me because I hate to say it, but if you look at the roster top to bottom, a lot of people in our community are going to say that they're pretty evenly stacked and pretty evenly matched, but I'm pretty sure they're going to see the likes of Noey, the likes of TJ, the likes of Solurs, and say, I got to give the nod over there to those shotguns, but this is going to be a big team fight. And Detox, once again, stayed stunned for an absolute eternity, and they put INZEM over the hop to give him the Lancer angle in the fight. Tidy is all by himself inside of the juice. He's going to get Lancered out by INZEM. There's not going to be much that Tidy can do other than try to put damage to try to stop the triple cap, but back-to-back rounds, less than a minute. Hive 1 round away from a 2-1 victory.
Wow. Talk about a strong initial. Multiple strong initials coming out for Hive. You know, over these, even though the score is 4-2, over the last 5 rounds, Hive have gotten the first blood and they've won the initial fight. That's where Elevate has to stop them. And you know, when it comes down to this Elevate roster, and you're looking at a player saying, who's gonna be the one to rise up and shut down TJ, INZEM, shut down Noey from making plays? I'm looking at Detox off the start of this fight, especially with that M-bar being up top. Now, we are going to see this Torque go down low. So we're going to spread this fight back out to a base initial. It could be 1v1 up top, 1v1 middle, and 2v2 down low. But we see both teams, they send the majority of their numbers to opposite ends of the map. So more Hive members are up top to get that M-bar, and then down low, Elevate, get the Torque bow.
Elevate choose to go for the power. Excuse me. Elevate go for the power weapon down here at that second half neutral hill. Detox will have the Torque down there as well. INZEM with the M-bar up top. Not much he can do. They're going to send Shock over. Shock is going to get Lancered out by Solurs. This is a pretty interesting move, but Shock still somehow comes away with the fight, and they're going to come away with the E-hill. See them just kind of bouncing back and forth. This is going to be Hive's first chance at a retake. They're going to have to get all 4 players off of spawn now. Just try to find these numbers as Tidy's been called out inside of the info. Torque-bow revving up yet again. Detox not able to really do anything. 2 bows out, no connections yet, not even some damage from the splash. Shock is waiting in the middle of the map. I think Shock has to be aware of the possibility of Solurs pushing him from the juice. 3 bows out, no connection yet. Detox 0 for 3, and I don't believe INZEM's even pulled the trigger on the M-bar.
I don't think he's revved it out once, not giving up his position. He's just floating around the map. As we know, he's gonna be up top. Now, that's a big bow from Detox, putting one on the ground, teaming up with Shock to get the 2v1 in the 2-man advantage here for Elevate. They're going to be on top of their opponent's home hill. They're going to grab that Retro Lance, and he drops that empty Torque bow and gets himself a nice weapon, if not the perfect weapon, to lock in his E-hill and play defensively with his squad.
This is going to come down to pretty much one more fight, one more retake. TJ already through the bandstand. Smoke is out. Nobody in the area on the E-hill just yet. He's waiting to try to flash out Detox and Shock. He wants to get rid of that Retro Lancer. Shock is going to hop and cover back into that first half home hill. TJ on that cover is actually taking a pretty good fight right now. And Detox gets left alone for all intents and purposes. Shock had a Retro over his shoulder, but it's a cover fight. There's no real Lancer lanes to speak of. Solurs is actually snuck from Juice to Info, now to the home hill of Elevate. Elevate has a 1v1 here. This is huge. This is Demise versus INZEM. Back A out from INZEM, doesn't find anybody, goes for the right side, doesn't find another one. This is going to be huge, and there's the down. Demise wins the 1v on the home hill of Hive to get that hill back in their favor, but still just fighting off the forces of Elevate at the F hill. Swarm win in 15 seconds. They have to get a decap here, maybe even a kill onto Solurs. They're going to send a second player into the area, but Solurs just so good with the roadie strafe, so good with every action. INZEM full red. INZEM gets the chunk. Oh my God!
Don't matter. Don't matter.
Oh,
Demise did enough. Demise did enough throughout the entirety of the Demise did enough in the back end of that round. He won 2 1v1s. We saw the first one, and then he had to take INZEM out there in the last few seconds. Both squads were kind of like, is the 2v2 fight going to be one off the other end? INZEM waited just a second too late to engage, and he had some time to work with. I don't know if Demise was kind of being annoying with the hammer burst or maybe a Lancer on that side of the map, but it was a very close round. Elevate, they hang on.
Demise, much like my arteries, do just enough from keep me from having a heart attack right there, because I mean, I don't care who wins the matchup. That was just intense. You come down to the wire. INZEM steps into the hill 1 second earlier, and that could be bad news bears for fans of Elevate. Incendiary out to the back of the bandstand. Detox is now stuck back here between 2 different sets of flames. Top side of the map, the fights are being won by Hive to put pressure on the D-hill. Detox goes down. The M-bar picked up. Nobody getting picked yet with the torque. TJ trying to push up, goes for the head down play, gets chunked out. Saves his teammate as well, and Detox now has to go wide onto Solurs. Solurs has been winning so many gunfights tonight. I would not have been shocked if he'd have won yet another one, but he finally goes down and gets cleaned up. That should give him the E-hill, and that should give him the pressure here onto INZEM, top side of the map. Tidy, you might want to hit a few more Lancer shots instead of having to force Demise to come back off spawn to help you out there, buddy. You had the lane, you had the angle. Hit enough to finally get the down, but E and D back in favor of Elevate. They're going to be able to take this point lead here very shortly and come away with this initial fight in round number 8.
Man, that was big by Detox, because it was perfect timing when he grabbed the torque bow and escaped. The incendiary grenade was still there on the ground, but he knew that was his prime opportunity to walk away with that one. His opponents had the right-hand advantage on the other side of bandstand, but under pressure, man, he made the right play and got the first blood for his team to get him in this position. 2 bows left, looking through smoke. Solurs looking for the bow. He's being very aware of where Detox is. Doesn't want to give him any free damage with this. But this is the last torque bow. It's gonna miss. Now E heals decaps. Hive is not getting any points. Trip cap domination on the map. Fights needs to be fought, but it comes down to the home hill battle. Tidy goes down. The crossfire coming in from Elevate, but the home hill's getting captured again. Shock won't make it in time, and that's gonna do it. Hive closes it out in map number 3. They didn't win the initial in that round 8, but with just the right amount of time and patience, they find the openings in which they needed to close out this map.
Solurs is a different breed, Blaze. He is just, and I know only 6 kills, but 11 assists and 3 deaths. Map 1, map 3, 6 deaths combined across 6 rounds and 8 rounds. So 14 rounds, 6 deaths, but he only dies 3 times in each of those maps. Solurs he's the linchpin of this squad for me. Hive's success, yes, depends a lot on their rotations, depends a lot on how good guys like INZEM and TJ are playing up there in those front spawns, along with Noey's rotations around the map. But so many times tonight did Solurs' name come out of our mouths for winning a gunfight, for getting shots on, for not going down, for getting a decap here, getting a retake there. It is unfathomable to me that Solurs is not talked about in the echelons of just the best players of all time, which is why I always mention him as the perfect soldier, because anytime he has been called upon, he not only gets it done, but he doesn't care how it gets done. If it's the dirty work with the Lancer, if it's the rotation to help a teammate, or if it's dancing around two people and putting them on skates, he's pretty adept at that too, my friend.
Nah, he really is, man. You know, it's not enough in which we could say about Brian Solars. You know, to me, in my heart, like I feel like if we had the Gears of War Hall of Fame, he's definitely there, right? He has championships, multiple championships, but no matter what team Solars has had to play on over these last few years, rather if it was an explosive led team, a franchise led team, hell, if it's his own team in which he's leading, he's always showed up under pressure moments there. Rather if it was him playing the 1v1 lanes, him having a clutch up in a 1v2, you see his power weapon plays, if it's M-bar or torque bow, no matter what it is, Solars is a guy in which you can always count on, man. And he showed out in this series, and he showed up when Hive needed him the most. That's the guy that you want when you have to play a major, because when it's not looking good, he is the one that will step up and bring you closer to a championship.
And that, like we talked about before this matchup, this was also a must-win in both of our opinions for Hive. The way that they lost last night to Pittsburgh, they start out on off stream tonight on the side broadcast with Vanquish, and they lose back-to-back games. All of the pressure is now on them, but when you have to get a win and you come away with a win, that's a good sign for them definitively going forward. There's your score line, though. 5-1. Hive makes it look almost too easy there on Harbor. If I'm Elevate, that's a map you need to look at, you need to practice on, get some scrims out, try to figure out what went wrong, and try to correct it going forward. But 5-3, 5-3, last two maps highly contested. Hive puts in a lot of good work on Foundation. They just fall apart in the last few moments in a lot of those rounds, as you and I discussed. But there it was on District. They don't win all of those initials, but they get the retakes when necessary, rotating around the map, getting extra shots on, and making Elevate stay in fights. They weren't allowing them to set up, weren't allowing them to get large point leads, which ends up leading to a 2-1 map count with a 5-1, 5-3 round count in favor of Hive. Beautiful job by them. My hat's off and a round of applause to those boys.
And that was a big win that they needed, man. Coming off losses from the Pittsburgh Knights and VQ, back-to-back series. And, you know, this is a Hive team that wanted to go undefeated, right? And they knew who their toughest competition was going to be, but they just fall to the wayside to those two squads. Now, luckily for them, they hold face and they are able to beat some old teammates on the side of Elevate. And that win has to feel good for Hive, and it was one that they definitely needed. Let's see how they build off of that in the future.